What's good, y'all? I'm gonna talk about how the government shutdown changed my whole life. But I ain't talking about this government shutdown right now in 2025. I'm talking about the one that happened back in Obama's second term, because that was the one that really changed my life. I was working at the Norfolk Naval Shipyard back in Virginia, right where I'm originally from. And I was a machinist. Inside machinist, it was a government job. And I got furloughed. And I never, ever, ever in a million years thought that shit could happen to me, because I was the man at that time. You know what I mean? Like, I was volunteering in the city. I was featured in the newspaper. I'm on different boards in the city. And the city in that area where I'm from, Portsmouth, the city is kind of like connected real closely to the government workers in that area. The government employs more people in that area. It's like the biggest employer. So, and I was on the cover of the Shipyard magazine. I'm in the apprentice program. I'm in the green belt certification, all this good stuff, working to be upper management in the yard. And when they furloughed me, because it was rumors going around like who was gonna get furloughed, who won't, like who's gonna get to stay and who won't. Which in hindsight, like once it happened though, I kind of was glad that I did get furloughed, because the people that didn't get furloughed still weren't getting paid. They had to work through without even getting a paycheck. So glad that didn't happen to me, because my ass wouldn't have showed up any goddamn way the way I'm built. But anyway, but I got furloughed, right? And I just could not believe it, because like I said, like I was the guy. Like I was all these different programs. I knew the superintendents, and I'm on all this networking. You know what I mean? And I'm just knew for sure, like they gonna keep me. And they actually furloughed me, and that was the biggest wake up call of my life, y'all, because prior to getting in the shipyard, I had two businesses already. I had a cleaning company, my first cleaning company that I started when I was 19 years old. And then after that, I had my first barbershop. And so by the time I got into the shipyard, I had done a bunch of different stuff, freelance work, worked at every temp service, bunch of dead end jobs. And then when I finally got into the yard, like that was my first time finding like some real money, stability, legally. You know what I mean? And so, and I was like finally on the right path. But when that happened to me, y'all, that shit changed everything for me. And I knew then that entrepreneurship was gonna be the only way for me. Like I already wanted to get back in business anyway. And at that point, I had already started another second barbershop while I was working at the shipyard. I had also invested in a second cleaning company, but I ain't last for like a week, because it was, long story short, the deal fell through, because I had bought a existing business for somebody else. But it was a contingency in the contract, and they wasn't able to deliver what the contingency I needed them to deliver, so we reneged on that deal. But anyway, long story short, and I'm gonna be sweating, y'all. It's hot in this car, but I've got the AC off, so y'all won't hear that loud humming noise in the background. But anyway, matter of fact, maybe I'll turn this car off and then maybe crack the window or something. Hopefully it ain't too loud. But anyway, all right, where was I? But anyway, all right, bam. So at that time, right when that furlough came, had already run through 3 companies, and I was just kind of debating, like, all right, what I'm gonna do next? What I'm gonna do? But when that happened, I already knew what I had to do. I had to start another business, and I had to make it work, because what I realized, I cannot depend on no motherfucking job, no more. I gotta make it. And so when I was trying to figure out what to do, I had went to this business workshop. He said I always go to business workshop network, just trying to learn, right? And I asked the guy who's leading the workshop, Mr. James Taylor, shout out to him. He also helped me found this investment partnership that we had back in the day too, called Omega Investment Partnerships. But anyway, I asked him, I said, I got these 2 ideas, but which business should I invest in? He said, which one is going to make the most money? I said, the cleaning business, because I want to do a cleaning business, another cleaning business for a 3rd time, or I want to do another barbershop for the 3rd time. But this time I was going to do the barbershop like different. I wanted to be like a retail store and all that, with it combined and all that. But anyway, that was like the passion project for me. But the cleaning business was the one that I knew that I can really do it. I've done it before, made the most money in the past doing it. And he was like, which one made the most money? I said, the cleaning business. He said, well, do that and worry about the other thing later. And that's exactly what I did. And so going forward, I went in, started my cleaning company. I bought a franchise through Coverall, which those who knew here, Jan Pro this time. I started Coverall, the first one. Second one was Janet King, and then the third one was was Jan Pro. Which after the first year, y'all know I won Franchise Owner of the Year, honorable mention. I was successful, blah, 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 right? But long story short, though, I don't think I would have went all in if that furlough experience didn't happen to me, y'all. So I'm saying all that to say this. And by the way, for those who are new here, because that's what I was about to say, I do not recommend cleaning franchises to most people. There are certain circumstances where I'll give you a pass to get started with a franchise temporarily until you learn the ropes, and then get out of that and come over and do independent. Clean Biz Network is here to help you. By the way, I'm the founder of Clean Biz Network. I forgot to mention that. Dripped out. Right? But anyway. But yeah, so, but if it wasn't for me getting furloughed, I never would have changed my life the way I ended up doing once I started my business, y'all. And I haven't had a job for the past 7 years. All because I went and I bet on myself. And when I quit that shit, y'all, you gotta understand, this was a government job. I went through the apprentice program, which is when you go through the apprentice program, you basically, like, you a shoe-in to be upper level management. You're gonna be making 6 figures a year if you just keep following through the program. Like, you set, you know what I mean? The benefits crazy, government benefits, you know what I mean? Everything is great, retirement plan. And my ass walked off, and it's a 4-year program. I was 3.5 years through the program. All I had was 6 months left, and I would have graduated, been good to go, been a journeyman, all that good stuff, right? But I walked out. I said, you know what? I was listening to Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and a lot of like positive thinking, self-help, all of that type of stuff at the time. And Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, he said, burn the ships, because they went to war to fight this other country, and it was a general he was talking about, and they said that when they got to this other country, they burnt their boats. They got off the ship, went on the land where they was going to go fight the battle, right? And then the general told them, or whatever the name of the guy was, and I know it ain't general in the Navy, it's called something else, but the guy leading the people told them to burn their ships. And they was like, well, why would we do that? He was like, because that's the only way we gonna get back home to our loved ones, if we go kill them and take theirs, right? And so, long story short, that's the mentality that I took. I said, you know what? I could put a 2 weeks notice in, or as a government employee, you can take a leave of absence, right? I could have took a leave of absence and told them I'll be back. And as a government employee, you can literally, with the position I had, I could have literally took a whole 364 days out of 365. If you no call or no show for 365 days, then they can officially terminate your contract, because it's as a contract employee. And so, but for 364 days, I could have went completely AWOL, and I could have came back on day 365. But I ignored that part, even though it was always in the back of my head, and I did want to quit some time and do that and go back. But no, I fought through. But I just said, nah, I'm not taking no leave of absence. People would tell me I was crazy, would try to talk me into, well, do it the right way, or don't burn no bridges, or this or that. I ignored every single one of them. And you know why? It's because nobody that was telling me this was where I wanted to be in life. Okay? So if you find yourself right now, you affected by the furloughs, you're affected by food stamps, whatever, this whole government shutdown thing, and we all kind of get affected in some way, shape, or form, right? But one thing you can do to make sure that as far away from you as possible is build your own shit. Build your own. That's why I always taught entrepreneurship, period. Because I know what I'm going to do. I can't control what the government going to do. I ain't got time to be reporting to them, turning in this paperwork, that paperwork, or they're going to turn my shit off. But what I do know is, if I get up and I go sell my service, if I go sell my product, if I come up with this new idea to grow my company and market my company, I know I can do that. If I put in the work and delivered on this service or product, I know I can do that, right? So I'm saying all that to say this, man. Invest in yourself, educate yourself, and own your own. Okay? That's the only nobody coming to save you. As you can see, you can go rally all you want to. You can get out and vote, this and that. Hey, more power to you. But all I know is what I'm going to do for me and my family. And that's build my business and continue to build, because that's the only thing that's saving you out here. You know what I mean? I'm seeing people with high ass incomes, and they affected by this damn furlough situation. The money ain't coming in no more. Now they panicking. You know what I mean? Now things ain't going so smooth. Meanwhile, God be the glory, I don't see no change in my company, in my personal finances, because my company is still thriving. We still pushing forward. And that's how you could be if you stop moving scared and just go get started, if you haven't already. And then for those of you who have gotten started and you are still in business, this is why you need to keep going. Situations like this, Because look, you know what I mean? Like, this could be you. I was just sitting there, what, 2 days ago, and I was just thinking, like, thank you. Just thank you. I got groceries in here. I ain't contemplating stealing from the grocery store because my food stamps got cut off. Thank you. You know what I mean? And we were on stamps. You know what I mean? At a particular time, we were on food stamps. Ain't nothing wrong with it. And if you can qualify for them, go get them. You know what I mean? Go get them if you can. But it's like, but if you can get yourself in a situation where you ain't got to be dependent on that, do that. Be as self-sufficient as you possibly can. Because you don't need no plan B. You don't want to have nothing to fall back on because it just creates a crutch for you. You know what I mean? And if you got all of these safety nets and you move and solve like that, it's so hard to really go in and get that fearless, that fighter instinct that it requires to build a real company to multi-million-dollar levels, y'all. So that's the only way out. Your own. Save yourself. Start your business, and if you in business, put in that work every single day to make sure that you can scale that business. If I saw, shout out to Jarino, he posted in the group yesterday. It was yesterday or the day before yesterday. He wanted to close out another 25,000 top line revenue before the year's over for these last 2 months. He said, anybody got any tips they want to drop on how to do that? I told him, you need to send proposals out to $250,000 worth of business. That way, at worst, you'll close on 10%. That'll be your $25,000 right there. Then the question is, okay, well, how do we propose to $125,000 worth of business? Well, how do you generate leads? Maximize your effort in generating more leads. That way you can get on more walkthroughs, and then every walkthrough is a proposal. You propose to more business, you can close more deals. It's just numbers. All right? So especially for my people on this channel, because most of y'all in the cleaning industry, some of y'all not. Y'all just like to come for the free game. Appreciate y'all as well. But whatever industry you in, just do your numbers. Look at what's already been working for your business. All right? What's been working for you so far? Because y'all, some of y'all be like, well, how you get more customers? How you get more customers? You already got some. If you got some or you got one, what did you do to get that one or those ones? Do more. Do more of that. Okay? And that's another thing too, why I'm not a big fan of, like, a lot of people say, well, I get mine from referrals. Okay, but how can we quantify that? You can't just go, oh yeah, I got all 3 of my accounts from referrals. Okay, well, how can I control that? I don't really like that's almost like a luck thing. Like, you tell somebody and you hope that, and I don't want to hope. That's why I like cold calls. That's why I like door to door. That's why I like buying leads from lead generation companies like ours, where we guarantee you the appointment and it's exclusively sent to you and not to 3 different other damn companies like a lot of these other lead generation services. Because like I told y'all, my lead generation is not really a lead generation service. It's really an appointment setting service. But I just call it that because it's a more catchy name. But anyway, speaking of, since we're here, speaking of lead generation, we own it. For those who already got into it, I put a video out already. We own it. We got y'all, they coming. But in the meantime, since demand is high, that means the output is going slower than it usually would. So the delivery time is a little bit slower than it usually would be. So be patient with us. But in the meantime, definitely go to Clean Biz University and get the course to learn how to generate your own leads. So that way you ain't got to keep buying leads from other companies or even mine. You know what I mean? And that's straight like that. And that's dumb as hell to do as a business. But I'm willing to do that. All right? But anyway, so you want to take advantage, you got to go to cleanbizuniversity.com. While I can do that, right? Because if I ever figure out how to dial it in perfectly with the lead generation, those courses would not exist. I promise you that. That don't make sense to teach you how to do what I'm doing. It just don't. And that's why another thing too, when y'all see these, I ain't even gonna go there. I ain't gonna go there. But anyway, but yeah, man, save yourself. All right, and entrepreneurship to me is the only way to save yourself. That is the ultimate way, because that's the one thing that you can do where you can literally go make some money, literally make it. Like, you can make some money. You think of a new idea right now, go run a campaign on that to X amount of people, close on a percentage of X amount of people, and now you got X amount of dollars just like that. Straight up. That's what a business can do. You cannot go do that in real estate. You can't just sit here and think of an idea and say, oh, damn, how the fuck? I just left a car wash and they just text me. I don't remember them getting my number or anything. That was crazy. But anyway, yeah, that was weird. But anyway, damn, through my whole, all right, yeah, you can't do that in real estate though. You can't, just because you own a property, you own a single family or you own a duplex or fourplex, whatever, and you sit here right now like, I need to make some more money. Let me go find a way to sell another unit. You ain't got no more. You rented all 4 units out. You can't just go think of another way to make more money on that. You know what I mean? Even with the equity in the property, you can't just think up more equity. You got to wait for the market to dictate that. You know what I mean? Then with stocks, that's somebody else's company. You got to hope that they running that shit up. You can't do nothing about it for the most part, other than buy more to help the stock number go up. But buying more is defeating the purpose. You trying to get more money in, not give more money out. A business is the way, the only way that you can do that. Know what I mean? So if you ain't already invested in your business, I highly recommend that you do so. And if you don't know what business to start, I recommend starting a cleaning company, a commercial cleaning company, because it is a very low investment cost and extremely high upside. Go Google what is the highest grossing cleaning company in the country. They're going to tell you ABM. I think the number is 7.8 billion with a B. So that tell you it's possible to make as much money as you ever want to make just in this industry. You don't need to have 47 different fucking businesses. You don't need to have a genius idea. You don't need to go to Silicon Valley and raise no money. You don't need investors. You don't need a loan. Just get started. Just go get started, y'all. So if you want to get started, go to cleaningbusinessstarterkit.com. I do have cleaning business starter kits available for that. And then if you already in business, check out everything else we got at cleanbizuniversity.com. We got courses that educate you and help you grow that. Or cleanbizleads.com if you just want us to do it for you and buy leads from us. What else we got? We got all type of stuff. If you want one-on-one coaching with me, ongoing mentorship, with guaranteed leads included with the one-on-one coaching, and I just walk you step by step, go to 1010program.com while you can, while is the price that is at right now, because I'm about to raise that, and that is my highest ticket product already, but I'm about to change that. There ain't gonna be no more monthly plans. We're going back to the lump sum up front, because that's the best way for me to deliver that in the most efficient way possible. So if you were thinking about getting that, get that ASAP before that's too late. But anyway, hopefully y'all got something from this, man. Save yourself, and lock in on your shit. Stop listening to so many different people, because a lot of these motherfuckers ain't trying to do what you trying to do. You know what I mean? If you in entrepreneurship, if you in business, you trying to build a legacy, you trying to build assets, then you probably trying to get rich. We trying to get rich. So a lot of these people you listening to and taking advice, your cousin, your uncle, the girl with the good credit, the guy with the fancy car, these people ain't trying to get rich. You know what I mean? So stop listening to them. Fuck them. Lock in on your business. That's all you need to worry about. How we gonna get more customers? How we gonna hire more people to cover these customers? And how we gonna have systems in place to make sure everything is running efficiently without you having a slave and be a slave to your business and working in your business and not on your business. All right. I'm AJ Simmons, founder of the Clean Biz Network. Talk to y'all later, man. Do what you gotta do, y'all. I appreciate you. I'll talk to y'all later.